Today I'd like to talk to you about why your brain focuses on all the things you don't want to happen. I mean, have you noticed that sometimes we think, oh, what if this happens? Oh, what if I fail? What if I succeed? What if this person thinks that of me? We begin to have this self-talk, this internal dialogue, and these images and sounds in our mind of all the things which could go wrong, all the things we don't want to happen, which then causes anxiety, right? Because if you think about all the things you don't want, sure, you're going to get anxious by it because you're thinking about all the things you don't want to happen, right? So if you consider that, why would our brain do that? Why would we be thinking about all the things we don't want to happen in our life? Well, there is a very simple and clear reason as to why our body does this. And I really take it back to when we were way back in survival mode. I mean, consider that. Remember, if we go back in time and we didn't have the security that we had today to a certain level. I mean, we've got food. We've got, on the most part, we've got food, we've got shelter, we've got some form of finances. Sometimes, it might not be the best, but sometimes we've got a government which can help us out in our time of need. If we have a disability, we'll still be able to really survive. That's where we're really going here. But way back then, we didn't have that level of security. We did not have that level of feeding ourselves. We had to hunt. We had to look for shelter. We had to be aware of all the predators around us. We had to be aware of all the pitfalls around us. Because back then, we had to be consciously highly acute in what might hurt us, and even worse, might kill us. So over the years, on this defensive mechanism, our brain begins to think of all the things which could go wrong. Now back then we can easily think that yes, we got to be aware of what's around the corner. We've got to be aware of what's in the woods. We've got to be aware of what that sound was in the woods when we're sleeping in a cave or wherever we're doing, really sleeping in our hut and so on. We had to be consciously aware, highly acute in all the things which could go wrong because our life depended on it. But in this present day age, as we come up to where we are right now, we do not need that level of protection in terms of our thinking of all the things which could go wrong. So it's been an ingrained habit over the years that has caused us to have this level of thinking, this automatic response. So how can we stop that? How can we really consider a new level of responding where we do not have that reaction of thinking of all the things which could happen, which could go wrong? Well, at the end of the day, it's all about connecting with yourself. You see, if you had conscious control or the conscious ability to let go of that thinking, and for that matter, any issue that you may have, you just click your fingers and you'll let go of it. Now, if you're not consciously capable of doing that, which we really aren't on the most part, and I will tell you how we can consciously do it by using this mindset, but we usually can't do that, then we've got to be aware that we're out of rapport with our body. But if we can't consciously change, it must mean our unconscious mind is running the anxiety, the doubt, that level of thinking of what might happen, the negative thinking. So what we have to do, if we're not able to change it, we need to get in touch with ourselves. Now, something that I do myself is every time I wake up in the morning, every time I go to sleep at night, I spend time connecting with myself. You might be doing it yourself as you're listening to hypnosis. I mean, that's what I'm known for. I do hypnosis titles on my apps, on my website. If you listen to these, what you're doing there is you're connecting with your body and it's listening to my learnings and suggestions, so you're becoming more connected and therefore in harmony with your body. Any person who has an issue is out of conflict or in conflict and out of rapport. So the nature of listening to hypnosis is speaking to your unconscious mind and connecting with itself. Many people will do this through forms of meditation. You can just do it gently. I always advise going to a group first, because they can teach you how to do it, because that's pretty important. You don't want to necessarily meditate if you've got high levels of anxiety right now. Or you can meditate, but do it with trained professionals, people who've got experience in meditation. But the whole idea of meditation is to really connect with yourself, connect with your body, get out of time and be into this moment. So another idea is just speaking to yourself, speaking to your unconscious mind. I treat it like a child. It's like you could come home one day, and if you've got a child, you may have even had that experience, and they've drawn you this most beautiful painting, and you think, that would be great if it wasn't on my wall, but they didn't paint on my wall. So although the intention was good, that your child wanted to paint you a picture, the nature of it being on the wall is not so cool. But you appreciate the intention and have to redo everything. I've got an animal just jumping here. So, sorry about that. What we can do is really be consciously aware that our unconscious mind is like a child trying to please us, being aware of all the pitfalls around us. But what we got to do is educate it. And what I do is I say, speaking to my unconscious mind, I want you to realize I appreciate what you've been doing, trying to keep me safe, but here's a better way of being safe. And in our mind, we create that suggestion through our internal dialogue, a feeling, an inner representation of how you like to be, and you're pre-teaching your unconscious mind that's the way you want to be. So I hope that's explained to you why your thinking can be like that, focusing on all the things you don't want to happen. And on the other hand, how we can retrain it by listening to my hypnosis, or educating yourself. Every time you're reading something, you really are taking it in unconsciously, as well as meditating or just being quiet with yourself and speaking to yourself, explaining to your unconscious mind like it was a child, saying, look, I appreciate what you did by trying to paint this picture on the wall, but there's another way of doing it. Here's the paper and the pens. So you're pretty much metaphorically doing that to yourself in terms of how you'd like to act and react differently. So I hope you've helped, or that's helped you in some way, as to why we do it and also how we can begin to change that habit. It may not happen overnight, it may well do, but be gentle on yourself. Like a child, it takes time for them to understand and get the clarity of the learnings you're trying to give them. So be gentle with yourself and your unconscious mind, and realize, having all the love for your unconscious mind, because it's trying to do a good thing, it's just learned an old behavior, or it's developed one with the best of intentions, usually protection and safety, but it's doing it in an overwhelming way. So I really hope you enjoyed that, and if you've found this helpful, please leave a review on my apps, or if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you think, and I will speak to you soon. Many thanks and goodbye.